Anniversary of a hip-hop classic, Baby Got Back, and Sir Mix-a-Lot wants you to celebrate with an NFT.
That's right, Nicole. BitButts hits the scene in just 1 month. Today we'll be checking out some of the cheekiest designs in the collection. Plus, Instagram launches NFTs on its platform, but will anyone care? We'll dive into the social media giant's push into bringing NFTs mainstream.
And our big interview today, Spencer Jakab from Heard on the Street and the Wall Street Journal. He joins us and he discussed how meme stocks actually gave power back to investors. So stick with us and of course subscribe below, hit the notification bell, and let's get into it.
And today we are joined by award-winning investing columnist, published author, and editor for the Wall Street Journal's Heard on the Street column, Spencer Jakab. Spencer, welcome to the show. Super stoked that you are here. Your novel I want to dive into, The Revolution That Wasn't, is inspired by the GameStop stock surge that was meant to be this watershed moment, a revolution, if you will, that put the power into the hands of everyday investors and stripped Wall Street of market influence. But that's not exactly what happened. How did Wall Street actually win this round?
Look, I mean, the truth is that Wall Street always comes out ahead. You go in ahead of them in the revolving door, and they come out in front of you. That's just the way things are. The harder you try as an individual investor to really get one up on them. Not to say that individuals did not, from time to time, do well. But Wall Street is very good at making money. Wall Street is made up of middlemen that are good at picking your pockets in whatever way possible. And that way has changed recently because the bar has been lowered because of competition and because of technology, in that it allowed millions more people to play the game during this last round. That included the meme stock squeeze. And that wound up enriching Wall Street. Surprise, surprise. There are ways to beat the street that Wall Street hates, but hyperactivity is not one of them. And this was definitely a bout of hyperactivity.
Do you think Wall Street won because it was able to react faster because of its reliance on resources, or was it more so they were able to see something coming?
You have to look at it. I mean, there are people on Wall Street who lost a lot of money. There's a fund called Melvin Capital, which was one of the most successful hedge funds on Wall Street, that lost more than half of its value in a matter of days. And there are other hedge funds that lost a lot of money. And in the minds of some people, the hedge funds are very, very big players and make up a very large part of Wall Street. But the fact of the matter is, there are many hedge funds that made money. There are many mutual funds that just found themselves in the right place at the right time during meme stock mania and made a lot of money and cashed out and headed for the hills. And most of all, there are lots and lots of middlemen on Wall Street, the Ken Griffins of the world, but also the Robin Hoods of the world, that they just really are happy if you're excited as a retail investor and you're trading a lot. That is the business model today. A long time ago, it was different. A long time ago, it was big fat commissions. Today, there are zero commissions, but they still make money because trading is not free. And a high level of activity is what they need in order to make the newest type of customer, which is mainly young people who might be listening to this, profitable to them. So they were happy throughout the episode. They had a great 2020. They had a fantastic 2021. And now they're starting to worry because the excitement is starting to fade.
Mm-hmm. I think the media has made it come out to be like it was this big win for the everyday investor. And in some regards, as we've said, it was. The fact that more people are opening investment accounts and brokerage accounts than ever before is notable. And that is a win in some regard. But if social media and meme stocks aren't the way to create this revolution that we want to see for the retail investors, then what is?
The people in the meme stock squeeze, the people who are, and there's no monolith, right? There are some people who are just out to make a buck and saw an opportunity. There are some people who are out to prove a point, and there are a lot of people who are trying to do both. And they're trying to get this twofer because they didn't like Wall Street and because they like money. But the secret to beating Wall Street in recent years has been to engage with it as little as possible. You can't really build wealth in this country unless you start your own business or buy houses or something without having some investments, right? But that doesn't mean you need to pay a lot. And what Wall Street absolutely hates And what they were getting very worried about in the run up to this episode is that people were becoming increasingly passive. They were buying index ETFs and things like that that paid Wall Street 0.03% a year. It's not that they were losing money on them, but weren't making money compared to the good old days. And so they wanted to get people excited and active. And they were very happy to see that over 10 million new accounts were opened mainly by young people who were very, very active, who were paying them, a couple of $100 a year indirectly without their knowing it, through, kind of kickbacks and payment for order flow, basically. So, if you want to do a twofer, you want to do well, passive investors who buy low cost products and trade them very rarely will beat 85 to 90% of their peers in investing. It's just a proven thing that they'll do well. And it's also obviously proven that they'll pay very little to Wall Street in the process, which is part of the formula.
So the trick, it seems, to beating Wall Street at its own game is to not play its game.
Basically, I mean, the trick is to be cheap and lazy, which is, kind of appealing to me personally. I mean, that kind of is the trick. I mean, that's what all this technology has made possible. So that's not like you have Vlad Tenev of Robinhood going in front of Congress and saying, wow, we wanted to democratize finance. I mean, finance has been democratized a lot. If you go back 40 years ago, there's no way that with $50 or $100 you even could have opened a brokerage account. No one would have allowed you to do it. You would have paid so much in commission anyway that you would have chewed it all up. Today you can do that. So the bar has been lowered to the point that people with much less money, much earlier in the process, can get on the ladder financially, which is a great thing. But what's not a great thing is that the way that they've learned to trade has been to be hyperactive and to see what people are talking about on social media and buy that and then change their mind the next day. It's proven that the more you trade, the more poorly you do. Their study after study has shown that.
Right. That's basic behavioral economics and behavioral finance. How can the everyday investor then maybe navigate that disinformation on social media that is out there, given that the hyperactivity is that those 10 million users or some portion of that, have been trained to do? Well, if we band together in this community aspect, we can change stocks, we can move markets, but that's not necessarily always the reality, or not necessarily a good thing for people. So how do you navigate the noise out there?
Well, there's a fascinating study was done of how all stocks have done. So this guy went back to 1926 in several countries, and he looked at many stock markets, and he said, what happens to the typical stock? Because most stocks disappear. Most stocks are no longer with us. So what if you just picked a bunch of stocks, like randomly, or picked a stock randomly in the past that somebody told you about, or you threw a dart at the stock pages, or however you picked it, some broker told you to buy it. And more than half of stocks don't even do as well as just holding cash. About a quarter of stocks go to zero. So it's a very, very small percentage of stocks that have created the majority of performance, about 1/3% of stocks. So the odds that you're going to happen to pick that stock are extremely low. You're always going to meet somebody who said, I bought Apple back in 1982 and I'm a cajillionaire today. But those people are also much more likely to talk about how well they did. And those people are also not very likely to hang on through all the good times and the bad times. There are a lot of bad times for Apple. It almost went bankrupt a couple of times, right? So, I mean, the fact of the matter is, instead of looking for that needle in a haystack, buying the haystack is a much more efficient way of doing it. You're not going to, be driving a Bentley next week, because you bought an index fund, because that's not how it works. But it does compound over time. And that has traditionally been the formula for success, because it's so cheap today. This is something that wasn't available generations ago. Just buying a basket of stocks, paying very little to own it, totally tax efficient, set it and forget it. You don't have to keep checking your account. I don't know what it is at eToro. Robinhood investors check their accounts on average 7 or 8 times a day, which is totally unnecessary. Because it also has been shown that the more often you check your investments, the more poorly you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, there's no guardrails in place in that
Right.
platform specifically, and when there's zero indication of how many times you're allowed to do something or how many times you maybe should, and it's purposefully nudging you with
Right.
notifications, then yeah,
Right.
that is problematic. So I think that the message here really is, and from what I'm gathering of your novel,
Mhm.
really is, the
Mhm.
hyperactivity is actually the opposite of what what is in our best interest as everyday
Yeah.
ordinary
Yeah.
investors.
Yeah, and my book also tells the story, and it's a pretty great story. I mean, it's a story that you
It's a
really
lot
couldn't make
story.
up. So I've got three young men, three sons. Oldest is 23. He was the one who brought the meme stock squeeze as it was developing to my attention. 'Cause a couple of my sons are on Wall Street bets, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, and I couldn't believe how the story unfolded. It is an amazing, incredible. It wasn't quite David and Goliath because David kind of paid Goliath a lot of money, but it's a pretty cool story also. And so I think that's if nothing else, if even if you don't agree with my conclusions, you'll be entertained because people don't know all the things that went into it. They just know the story. They remember what happened with GameStop and with AMC and what have you. They didn't think about all the things that set the ground for it, all the ingredients that played into it, which are also pretty interesting, and all the personalities too. So I had a great time writing about it, and I hope that people will, if they don't take the lessons away from it, at least they'll enjoy reading the story.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll never forget the day. I remember I was a reporter in a covering the investment space and technology space, and I will never forget my editor at the time, being like, "Stop everything you're doing. We're having an all hands meeting right now. Everyone in the newsroom get together." And it was like
Right.
like pandemonium. It was like every single reporter in our newsroom was covering GameStop in different avenues, in different ways, and telling the story. And so you have done it in a novel, in a kind of proper collection of it, and so super excited about your fresh takes on it. Thank you again so much for joining us on the show. Where can our audience find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Spencer Jakab, SpencerJakab, as in boy, unusual spelling, SpencerJakab.com. They can find me at the Wall Street Journal, where I edit the Heard on the Street column and occasionally write for it, Spencer Jakab. And they can find my book wherever fine books are sold, like Amazon or Barnes & Noble. I hope you do check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like one day it's going to be a movie. It's got to be. Someone's got to do a movie, just like The Big Short.
Oh, no, I
So,
think there maybe a couple in the works. Unfortunately,
mm,
I didn't get a contract from Hollywood.
rude.
But I'm gonna have Brad Pitt play me. Okay.
At least they
Yeah,
should at least give you a say in that. Amazing.
totally.
Thank you again, Spencer, so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, what's up, Zayd and Delano?
Great interview, Nicole.
So cool. Such a cool thing.
Very good. I remember that time, Nicole, that you were mentioning. It was a wild time.
It was a crazy day.
It was a crazy, crazy day.
It's a crazy week. It was nuts.
Moving on to some more crazier times, guys. So Instagram is beta testing NFTs, but the big question is, will anyone care? Instagram head Adam Mazzori announced today that the platform is going to start testing NFTs with select creators in the United States. The supported blockchain for showcasing your NFTs on Instagram is going to be Ethereum and Polygon, with support for Flow and Solana coming later. No fees will be associated with sharing or posting digital collectibles on Instagram, but Adam stated that this could be crucial for creators as they're going to be allowed to share and display their collectibles, their NFTs on Instagram. Even though Instagram is a centralized platform, they think this move will make Web3 more accessible to a broader audience, guys. And I think, I actually agree with this. Right now, if you think of we talk about utilities in NFTs, but the other part of NFTs is like, they're supposed to be aesthetically pleasing. They're supposed to be kind of sort of a flex. And where's the best place to flex? Instagram, Nicole and Zayd. You can put your cool NFTs. You can have people come see it. I mean, the way you could scroll through on the feed, I think that'll be really cool, because right now other marketplaces don't have a great feed where you can just kind of flip through and see them. So I think this is actually a cool move, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on kind of the status front. I'm definitely for more people being interested in learning about NFTs always, but I do think that this can turn into that status symbol, just like likes, comments, and engagement. And that's, I think, how this really takes off. Otherwise, I think no one will care. But the demographics are in place and line up well. 1 billion people actively use Instagram every month. That is according to Hootsuite. And majority of Instagram's audience are millennial and Gen Zers. No surprise there. Research also shows that the majority of people interested in NFTs are between the ages of 18 to 24, followed by 25 to 34 years old. So not surprising there on kind of the alignment of demographics. And so bringing NFTs on Instagram makes a ton of sense. It's just a matter of, will it actually, create any real effect? That I think is we're gonna have to see if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's no downside, guys, for them to try this, right? Obviously, NFTs are super hyped right now. They're going to implement this. And yeah, the platform does make sense for them to implement NFTs because, Instagram is a photo and video platform. And now people have a way to flex their, $50,000 JPEG. So I think it makes sense. I still am a little hesitant to think if it's going to be huge. Obviously, Twitter implemented this. What was it, January, I think it was, of this year. And I'm just speculating here, but I bet like less than 0.1% of the total Twitter user base uses the profile picture NFT feature that they have.
You didn't change your profile picture into an
NFT? I did not.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
I did not.
It's like the new laser eyes. It's like a way to just like create, like I said, that status and create like a little bit of like, I guess you could add community, but
sure, yeah. And Twitter is like where all the crypto people hang out. So, if there's only like a slight adoption of this stuff on Twitter, I don't know how well it will be adopted on Instagram. But again, there really is no downside for Instagram to try this. I mean, we know that they're kind of struggling to grow at this point because they're losing users to TikTok, especially Gen Z users. And so if this is one way where they can kind of get more people back into the platform, then why not? It doesn't hurt to try.
Instead of showing off your riches of like you in a private jet or you at like a club popping bottles, $50,000 JPEG guy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, forget my Rolls Royce. Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, here's a JPEG of a monkey just doing monkey bars. Like it's crazy out there. Speaking of NFTs, I cannot believe we're about to talk about this. This is gonna be fun. It is the 30th anniversary of the release of the hip hop classic Baby Got Back. And to celebrate, Sir Mix-a-Lot teamed up with Meta X Studios for a new NFT project called, this is no surprise here, BitButts. So let's get into this collection and today's fresh mints.
What's happening, y'all? Sir Mix-a-Lot here. I'm sure you guys have been hearing the buzz that Sir Mix-a-Lot and Meta X are coming together to create a cool NFT project, kind of to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Baby Got Back, which is this year. But is it a cash grab? Nada. We also decided to partner with, guess who? This team is raw. The Colorectal Alliance. Colorectal Alliance. This is a group of people obsessed with ridding the world of colon cancer. It's the most underfunded cancer. 1 out of every, I think, 23 men will get it. 1 out of every 25 women will get it. And underfunded? We can't have that. So we've decided to partner with them also to donate a good portion of the gross funds, not net, okay, to the Colorectal Alliance. It's coming real soon, baby. Got Back, 30 years old. I did the song when I was 5, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, Sir Mix-a-Lot still got it.
I mean, what? I mean, how can I follow that up? I mean, look, this project obviously is for a good cause. It's for colon. They're going to donate some funds to colon cancer. The artwork looks very interesting. The project is dropping on June 10th. And I mean, you guys know me, like I'm kind of hesitant to the whole NFT stuff. I'm starting to warm up to it now. And this seems like something this seems something interesting. So, shout out to Sir Mix-a-Lot to do this for a good cause.
What a great way to warm up to it, Zayn. This is probably one of the best ways. Let's start with the serious first. Yes, you mentioned, Zayn, your purchases can trigger a portion going to help colorectal cancer. They seem to have a pretty good team and obviously a charismatic guy in Sir Mix-a-Lot talking about the project. And the holders have some benefits. I would have liked, for the holders to one special mint to be able to hold some of the royalties to his great iconic song. That would be really cool. But I think this is a really astronomical project, Nicole. What do you think?
I mean, but nostalgic song, all for a good cause. Like, what's not to love about this situation? Sir Mix-a-Lot gets like a moment to be relevant again. I mean, to be fair, when do you go to like a wedding or like any event and not hear the song play? So I guess he's been relevant. But I do think that also these booty NFTs might be worth like me picking up the Instagram version so I can share my favorite one. I'm definitely partial to the butterfly NFT there, but I also just super appreciate the diversity of the booty art as well. So really well done.
Yeah, they're gonna have 6,666 different kinds of butts.
Wow.
So that's a lot of diversity. I like the moon one with all the craters and stuff. I thought that was an interesting one as well. So I can't wait to see the entire collection.
I like that Target one. I think our producers also have that one. And it's really because, when you work out, you isolate, you target in on your muscles, and that's where mine comes from. So everybody get your mind out the gutter. I like to target it on my biceps and all my muscles when I work out. So that's what I'm thinking of when I think of that NFT.
Delano doesn't skip leg day.
Yeah, not at all.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, probably my favorite story we've ever covered, since I'm also partial to the peach one. That's a good one. Makes me think of the emoji. Anyways, there's the Target one, Delano.
Oh, I love it.
I gotta stop staring at butts. Okay, so that is a wrap on today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know which butt's your favorite, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We out. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and be sure to tune in tomorrow.